The dawn is shining, and the sky is completely dyed by the sky. In a majestic mountain, the waterfall cascaded down along the steep rock wall, splashing thousands of water, facing the golden light of the morning glow, reflecting a brilliant neon, colorful. Such a scene of beads splashing jade and roaring like thunder did not affect a young man. He sat blankly on a blue stone, splashing water on him without knowing it. Except for teasing a few more girls, I haven't done anything heinous. How could I encounter such a ghost? Yayu muttered to himself. He still couldn't accept reality. He just met a few friends to escape the heat in the mountains because of the hot weather. When staying at the top of the mountain at night, seeing the moonlight pouring on the glazed tiles of the Taoist temple on the top of the mountain gathered together so beautiful that he was dizzy, curious, he walked over. Then he disappeared. After that, he had an incredible experience in a strange space, and when he woke up he found himself in another world. Not long after he woke up, another thing happened that made him laugh and cry. He was kidnapped, but the person who tied him was not for money, but was tied to marry their young lady. At the beginning, Yayu could bear it. If you think about kidnappers, you will be for nothing. They tied themselves to a big marriage proposal are naturally lustful, which also shows that their looks are high enough. But later I found out that they were also unsullied. Yayu couldn't understand, what kind of kidnapper is this? Is there any kidnapper's morals? Even if you don't ask for or money, you are embarrassed to be a kidnapper? Yayu found an opportunity to sneak attack on these unprofessional kidnappers to escape. He stared at a kidnapper who was so thin that he could easily knock him down with a punch, and was confident enough to take him hostage. But as soon as his hand squeezed the opponent's throat, he found that he was thrown out, flying out tens of meters in an unbelievable way, beyond his knowledge of human power, and he smashed on the ground and passed out completely. Only later did he realize that this is a world of spiritual practice. This world is vast and prosperous in martial arts. Those with great power can open mountains and rivers and call the wind and the rain. The peerless strong man can overlook the world and shake Kyushu in one word. Thinking of this, Yayu retracted some thoughts and looked at the waterfall. There were more than 20 teenagers under the waterfall, and the rushing waterfall smashed on them one after another. Even though Yayu has seen it many times, it can be seen that they can't help but be shocked to practice with such a majestic waterfall. The majestic waterfall smashed down, and these young people were washed away from time to time, but they were very resilient, rushing to the waterfall again and again until they couldn't hold on. Seeing that these young people couldn't hold on before they climbed ashore, Yayu also cheered up a bit. Every time they finish their training under the waterfall, someone will tell them to practice. Yayu comes from the earth and doesn't know anything about spiritual practice, but he has read many books these days, and one thing recorded in them is like a throat. He must ask for proof, maybe it can change the fate of being bullied by these kidnappers. Ah! When Yayu was thinking about these things, a young man suddenly roared, his fist slammed into the pool, and the waves splashed several meters high. Brother Yan Chao has also stepped into the red dust realm. The teenager who saw this scene exclaimed excitedly, full of envy and admiration, and all surrounded Yan Chao who had climbed ashore. Brother Chao is really amazing, he has stepped into the red dust realm so quickly. Yes, Brother Chao is not as talented as Yan Jun. When Brother Jun is his age, he hasn't stepped into the red dust realm yet. Ha ha ha, it's impossible to say that Brother Chao will surpass Brother Jun to become the leader of the younger generation of Yan family. Yan Chao heard this and said with a smile, "Don't talk nonsense, Brother Jun can't beat me if he hears it. Okay, hurry up and recover your strength to prepare for the next wave of waterfall tempering. You also strive to reach the red dust realm as soon as possible." No! A group of teenagers screamed, "The waterfall hurts so much on the body, who can stand another wave? Brother Chao, is it so painful to practice in the red dust realm?" The reason why the red dust realm is called the red dust realm means that there is so much suffering in the red dust, and you have experienced enough tempering to force your own potential and become stronger. If you want to reach the red dust realm without suffering, what dreams do you all have? While Yan Chao scolded them with a smile, a voice came from a distance. Doesn't the implication of the red dust realm mean that the red dust world is in various forms and contains 3,000 ways of heaven and earth, which can be achieved by greed and greed? The teenagers looked up at the voice, only to see Yayu stand up from the stone, patted his and walked towards them at random. Ha ha ha, a trash who has never practiced, and has the face to talk about cultivation. Seeing that it was Yayu, a group of teenagers laughed. Boy, there's nothing wrong with you here. Honestly and obediently waiting for the wedding to our young lady, you can't participate in the practice as a scumbag. What do you know, if you weren't a waste like you, if the Yanji rewarded you with a bite of food, you would have starved to death. The youths of the Yan family were full of insults and ridicule. In addition to their kidnapping of Yayu because of the sparse population here, there was another reason that he was a trash who had never practiced and could be controlled. Now this actually came out to refute Yan Chao's practice. Isn't this a tale of the world? This kid is in a daze from time to time, maybe his brain is silly, he still doesn't know his situation, right? You are very moisturized now because you are still valuable. After we wait, we can break your neck at will. Yayu could naturally feel their contempt, even the killing intent of some people. This made him feel cold. In fact, he knows his situation very well. The kidnappers, how soft-hearted do you expect them? Thinking that he came to this world inexplicably, and now his life is precarious, he wants to scold his mother, who doesn't want to live. The killing intent of these people made Yayu want to prove that even more, and maybe he could use this to step into the road of cultivation. Don't be in a hurry to scold me for trash. Is the Red Dust Realm's explanation like this? Ask Uncle Shan, right? Yayu turned his head and looked at a middle-aged man. As for the explanation of the Red Dust Realm, I heard it from Uncle Shan and took it for myself. Yan Chao sneered, and said to Yan Shan, Uncle Shan, right? All the teenagers looked at Yayu mockingly, waiting for Yan Shan to punch Yayu in the face. Yayu is right. While everyone was waiting for ridiculing Yayu, they heard Yan Shan speak so. The sarcasm on the faces of the teenagers instantly stiffened. They stared at Yan Shan blankly, their faces turned blushing. I said that I should let you practice well and read more books in the clan, but you just don't listen. Yan Shan, as their elder in the profession, hated iron and iron in angrily. But Uncle Shan, what you said before was indeed. Yan Chao questioned, refusing to admit defeat. What I said before is correct, that's all, then I will explain to you what the Red Dust Realm is in a systematic way today. Uncle Shan sighed. Yayu also looked at Yan Shan with a spirited look at this time. The meaning of the Red Dust Realm mentioned by Yan Chao is that there is so much suffering in the red dust. There is nothing wrong with the explanation that you can sharpen your own potential and become stronger. Everyone has huge potential, and if you develop its potential, you can naturally become stronger. There are many ways to develop potential, such as water current impact, club beat, and heavy iron on the back to temper the body, while the enchanting person is like smashing with violent thunder and lightning, burning the body with fierce fire, and cultivating with the body wrapped in severe ice. But all of these have become stronger through hardship, Yan Shan said. Crazy thunder and lightning? Can they survive the fire? Everyone's eyes widened, and they all swallowed their saliva and couldn't believe it. They use the treasure medicine or even the holy medicine to assist in their cultivation, and they can naturally bear it. But those who dare to use this hegemonic method to practice are the disciples of those big sects, because this requires huge power and wealth to support. Our Yan family has fallen into disarray. Even if there is this kind of cultivation method, I dare not use it. Yan Shan sighed. But even the practice of tempering the body with violent thunder, fiery fire, and profound cold is incomparable to another type of evildoer. That type of people practice through wind and rain, practice through spring and autumn, practice through life and death, etc. Yan Shan was in a trance. Showing the color of yearning, this is what Ye Yu said, the world of the red dust has various appearances, and one of them is greedy and gains the way. In fact, this is the real explanation of the red dust realm, because people who take this path of cultivation are all peerless genius, the proud son of heaven. Yan Chao and others looked at Uncle Shan, but they still didn't understand. Yan Shan can only continue to explain, if there is a person who can make your body evolve into wind and rain, into spring and autumn, evolve into birth and death, regardless of whether you have any perception during this period, your body alone will come naturally. Is it a terrible thing to carry a part of the Taoist rhyme of heaven and earth? The former is only the development of potential, while the latter carries the Taoist rhyme of heaven and earth. This is the seed that has planted the heaven and earth, which is equivalent to having the potential of part of the heaven and earth. Uncle Shan sighed, this kind of people, as long as they evolve, they will be able to step into the spiritual realm in no time, and their foundation is extremely deep. Sneeze. Countless people took a cold breath, and there was a fiery color in their eyes, a spiritual realm. This means that you can swallow the spiritual energy of the world, and it is already considered a good fortune, truly reborn and stepping into a new one. Heaven and earth. Their entire Yan family is also a spiritual realm. And walking this way, you can instantly enter the Yunling, this is a step to the sky. All of them wanted to reach the Yunling realm, and reaching the Yunling realm in this 9-state land, even if they were good hands, was enough to support a small family's glory. Uncle Shan, how do you practice this method? The Yan family members stared at Yan Shan fiercely. Don't even think about this method of cultivation. Only the disciples of the Supreme Power have the opportunity to use it. Because it is necessary to observe the spring and autumn period in life and death, how can it be done without the help of the powerful? Only those who are powerful have the opportunity to use it. Such a method. Yan Shan rolled his eyes. Ye Yu was silent for a long time after hearing this, and then he said, I read a book and said, there are thousands of ways to practice in the red dust realm, but there is only one way to be respected. Yan Shan glanced at him. Ye Yu was just a tool in his eyes, but in order to let the children of the Yan family gain a bit of knowledge, he still opened the mouth to explain. It is rumored that in the ancient times, when people practiced in the red dust realm, they enjoyed 3 reincarnations a day. It means that in a single day, he evolved his 3 selves as infants, children, and adolescents. After he awakened from the changes in reincarnation, he instantly gained spiritual success and possessed an extraordinary ability, and then he sang all the way. Created a peerless legend, one person alone can control 9 heavens and 10 places, no one can match, and enjoying 3 reincarnations in one day is also known as the strongest law in the red dust realm. Speaking of this, Yan Shan paused and said, however, these are only legends recorded in some curious books. The credibility is not high. No one in the world should enjoy reincarnation. You must know that the ancient invincible supreme is powerless to talk about reincarnation. Ye Yu fell into a loss of consciousness when he heard what Yan Shan said. This was what he wanted to verify from Yan Shangkao. Because he had been to a strange space before the earth disappeared and came to this world, in that space he saw countless himself, from the newborn baby to the ancient years there is a him. Each one is perfectly presented before his eyes. Ye Yu thought of a book about time and space he had read. In theory, he could see himself at any time in a multidimensional space. While Ye Yu was watching his life, Ye Yu suddenly crashed into him. Ye Yu found that after every impact, Ye Yu merged into his body, and then he changed drastically. For example, when young Ye Yu merges into him, he becomes like a young Ye Yu. When old Ye Yu merges into him, he becomes an old person. When baby Ye Yu merges into him, he becomes a baby. He was constantly changing, and he couldn't control this change. In the end, the Ye Yuman turned into countless points of light, and his rapid changes, the concentration of light points like an explosion made him lose consciousness, and then he will wake up. In this world. When he woke up, he found that he had become smaller, probably only 17 or 18 years old. Yayu guessed that it was the 17 or 18-year-old Yayu who was last submerged in him. He was very fortunate, if it was an old man who hit him last. Then, he shuddered at the thought. With these experiences of Yayu combined with the verification obtained from Yan Shan, it is difficult for him to calm his heart. 3. Enjoyment of reincarnation in one day is the strongest method of the red dust realm, and you can enter the condensed spirit realm in a flash. That. What is it that he enjoys reincarnation in one day? Is it better to enter the spirit realm in a flash? The entire Yan family, if you want to know, there is only one Yunling realm. Seeing that Yayu was in a daze again, Yan Hao, a young man from the Yan family, said with contempt, "It's ridiculous to come here to show off my knowledge after reading a little miscellaneous book." Yayu frowned and looked at him. "What do you look at? If you dare to disturb our practice, this young master will beat you to death. Trash, go." After Yan Hao finished talking, he spit directly onto Yayu's face. Yayu touched the saliva on his face, his eyes fell on Yan Hao, and he said seriously, "No one has ever vomited disgusting saliva on my face. You are the first one. Remember." After speaking, Yayu pointed his finger at him, turned and left here. He was going to read a book to verify himself. Yayu's attitude made some people stunned, but everyone immediately reacted and cursed, "Damn! It's just a rubbish. I also learned to let others speak harshly. Things that do not live or die." He thought he could regain his dignity by speaking harshly. Ha ha ha, that's ridiculous. Don't pay attention to him, but it's just the wee tide. Is this worth your anger? You deliberately. Yan Shengting returned to the room. She struggled away from the tightly held hand, staring at Yayu with beautiful eyes. Yayu felt a little pity that the smooth and elastic feeling disappeared from his hands. "We are all married. You will get used to it intentionally or unintentionally if you hold hands between the husband and wife." Yan Shengting's beautiful eyes condensed slightly. "I will never get used to it. Besides, you know what I mean by intention. You're talking about hitting Gu Hong'an. Alas, when it comes to this, I'm angry. Damn, he is too arrogant. I really can't see it. You know, I am passionate and righteous. Feelings and jealous are like hatred. Of course seeing him like this must teach him on your behalf. You don't need to thank me. Being helpful is a virtue." Yayu looked at Yan Shengting while she was talking. Her red lips were warm, her nose was exquisite and beautiful like a sculpture, and her long eyelashes quivered, which was very exciting. "Thank you." Yan Shengting felt a fire burst out of her heart. She wanted to scold someone who had never scolded anyone. Do you know what trouble caused the Yan family? That is the Skyfire sect. Husband and wife are one body. You are insulted and I feel the same. Even though I don't know how to practice, I still can't help but get angry. Everything is for you. Yayu sighed. Who is one with your husband and wife? Who is humiliated? Is it humiliated by yourself? Who else wants you for me? Yan Shengting felt that she was going crazy. The Shanchu found from there spoke so smoothly in shameless words. Yan Shengting took a few deep breaths before she stabilized her emotions. She looked at Yayu and said, "I know what you plan to do. You deliberately made trouble for the Yan family to vent your dissatisfaction. In your heart, is your husband such a prudent person?" Yayu was heartbroken at such an unfair evaluation. "Although you and I are married, you should know what the situation is. So I hope you have your own words." Yan Shengting frowned and reminded Yayu. "Isn't offering sacrifices to heaven and ancestors a marriage approved by heaven and earth?" Yayu was extremely surprised. From the perspective of the ceremony, we are all real couples. You. Yan Shengting wanted to refute, but what Yayu said was the truth. In order to convince Gu Hong'an and others that they practiced the world's greatest etiquette in a true wedding. Although the acting is more realistic, it is still a drama after all. Yan Shengting was sitting on the edge of the bed, her high chest and slender waist were outlined, and her wedding dress was wrapped around her buttocks and sat on the edge of the bed, extremely sexy. What a fairy! Yayu murmured when he saw Yan Shengting's cold eyes, and then quickly changed his words, so after the acting, you are going to kill me, right? Yan Shengting was surprised when she heard Yayu's words, who said I would kill you, when I promised Uncle Shan to propose a big marriage proposal, I would let you go after I told them what happened and give you a reward for helping. You will forget about it in the future. Yan Shengting's words stunned Yayu, which was completely different from what he had recently received. There is absolutely nothing wrong with Yayu's feeling. The teenager headed by Yan Chao is extremely hostile, and Yayu has no doubt that he will be torn apart by them if he has no value. Who said that I would kill you? Yan Shengting is Bingxiu smart, and you can tell what happened by looking at Yayu's attitude. A lot of people want you to be a widow. I don't understand. Is this a child of your Yan family? How can you hope that your lady will be a widow? Yayu said angrily, Shengting, you have to remember forever now, husband and wife are one-hearted people. Shut up. Yan Shengting is anxious, who is with you? Sure enough, women always turn to their maidens. This is a law that has not changed for thousands of years. Yayu was filled with indignation, why did I marry such a woman? Yan Shengting couldn't laugh or cry as she heard Yayu's nonsense, don't worry, I said I would let you go, then I will let you go. Yayu didn't expect Miss Yanjia to make such a promise, but even so, Yayu didn't feel much happy. Even if Miss Yan's family really wants to let her go, will the others in the Yan family be willing? Moreover, these days Yayu also understood Yan Shengting's position in Yan Chao and others' minds. In their minds, Yan Shengting couldn't be overstated as a goddess. A person who faked marriage to their goddess, would they let it go? Even if she promised Yan Shengting on the face, what about secretly? He still has to fight for his own life. If he can reach the spiritual realm, who dares to insult him? You said that if I married you, you will pay us, isn't it true? Yayu asked. What do you want? Yan Shengting asked. As a man, you must hold up a sky after marriage. I will work hard to earn what you need. What do you mean by that? Is it a soft food to insult me? Yayu Zhenji Yan Shengting glared abruptly, as if she had received a huge insult. Yan Shengting was taken aback. She never thought that Yayu had such dignity. She apologized and said, sorry, I didn't mean it, I just. But since you want to give it away, if I don't accept it, it will hurt your self-esteem. How about you give me a practice book? Yayu's next words made Yan Shengting stunned, biting her teeth and just wanting to kick this useless man. The practice exercise can be given to you, but there will be no rewards afterwards. Yan Shengting really threw a practice exercise book to Yayu. Yayu didn't expect that this desperate thing would be so easy to get, so he couldn't believe it easily. Maybe this is an ordinary book for Yan Shengting's book. Yayu's hand holding the cultivation technique was a little trembling. These days, he had thought about this thing. There was a cultivation method, and Yunling finally saw a glimmer of hope. Gu Honggan and others may not have left yet. You are going to sleep in this room tonight. You sleep on the floor and dare to be within 3 feet of the bed. Don't blame me for being cruel to you. Yan Shengting reminded Yayu. Ah! Don't. The floor at night is so cold and cold, you are lonely sleeping on such a big bed alone, let's get together. Yayu said to Yan Shengting, holding the practice books in his hands. Yan Shengting didn't pay attention to Yayu, she just picked up a book and read it. You also like reading books, and I like them too. We lie in bed and read them together. Husband and wife, leaning on the bed, reading a book together. What a romantic picture is this, do you want to try it? Yayu stepped forward, but before he reached the bed, he saw a thin needle flying under his feet and almost shot into his feet. If you dare to step forward, you won't be so lucky in the next stitch. Yan Shengting said. In this case, I can only tell you a big secret. Yu suddenly stared at Yan Shengting with an extremely serious expression. This attitude made Yan Shengting curious, put down the book in her hand and waited for Yu to speak. Actually, I have a habit of breaking sleeves. I am afraid of the worldly vision, so I hid in this deep mountain and was caught by you. I have been ridiculed by people and lacked love. Do you know how much I want to be loved? With a sad look, Sister Shengting, can you give me a little love, sympathize with me, and care for me? For example, sleeping together, let me feel the beauty of the world too. I will definitely, Before Yu said anything, he let out a scream, and on one of his toes, a thin needle flew on it. Dare to say a word, I will stab you every toe once. These were Yan Shengting's last words, and then picked up the book again and did not pay attention to Yu. Yu clutched his toes, carefully pulled out the thin needle, opened his mouth and just wanted to say something, only to see Yan Shengting playing with a thin needle like jade and green fingers. He swallowed the words in his throat in an instant. The night of the bridal chamber fell into silence. Yu was holding the book of practice at this time, and turned the first page with his fingers trembling slightly. Sparks are needed to ignite gasoline, so is this method of practice the spark of starting a prairie fire? It was such an ambiguous scene with lone men and widows living in the same room. Yu felt ashamed of such a scene. He held the book and watched it all night. Yu felt that his soul was noble, he was out of the low-level taste, and he was an upright gentleman. It's just, why do the extra pinholes in the body still hurt so much? Yan Shengting was too cruel, and was stabbed with a needle just a little closer to her. The time passed slowly between the two of them immersed in reading, until Yan Shan arrived the next day and did not bother them. Miss Gu Honggan and the others are gone. Yan Shan brought a message. How did you deal with that incident yesterday? When Yan Shengting asked Yan Shan, she gave Yu a beautiful glance. We had a fight with Gu Honggan. He also knew that there was nothing we could do with the Yan family, so he left angrily. Yan Shan said worriedly, but this time he completely offended the Tianhuo sect. When I refused to propose, I was completely offended. Yan Shengting said, I am not afraid of offending again. That said, the Skyfire sect is a huge monster for us. Yan Shan sighed, I only hope that this plan can be successful. As long as the young lady can succeed, then all of this is naturally not a problem. They will definitely give up when they see my big wedding this time. They won't come to pester me every other time, and there is no need to guard against them. Yan Shengting said. But they left in a rage, fearing that they would bring people to retaliate soon. So the time for us is running out. Yan Shan said worriedly. Don't worry, the ancestral land will be opened in 2 days. Yan Shengting said, what we have to do now is to prevent all accidents and not let any forces notice us. Hearing that the ancestral land would be opened in these 2 days, Yan Shan was overjoyed. I understand. I will cheer up the Yan family and prevent all interference. Speaking of this, Yan Shan turned to Yu, staring straight at him. Yu was a little hairy, thinking that Gu Honggan would kill himself as soon as he left. Boy, you provoke. What's so little? Yu took the lead in the trouble, pointing at Yan Shan and yelling, do you still have respect and inferiority in your eyes, do you still have loyalty, and do you have the Yan family? Call to your lady's husband, kid. Do you still look at your young lady? Yan Shan was bewildered by Yu's outburst. Who gave him the courage to scold me here? Is he confused about his situation? Yan Shengting looked at Yu in astonishment. She was a little bit dumbfounded. This guy is really good at acting. You really think you are an uncle? What are you still looking at here? Don't you get out of here? Your young lady and I are newly married. Don't you need the world of 2 people? Yu filled with outrage. The two-person world, I'll send you to go to the two-person world. Yan Shan was furious because of yesterday's incident. At this time, he was reprimanded by Yayu. Abolish Yayu. Yayu had expected it a long time ago, and he quickly hid behind Yan Shengting. You see it, I told you last night that everyone in the Yan family wants to kill me. Yan Shengting stretched out her hand to stop Yan Shan. He helped Gu Honggan not to pester me for the time being. The Yan family can't avenge the grudges. Let him go when things are over. Looking at Yayu who was hiding behind Yan Shengting, Yan Shan said, Miss has a kind heart, let you make a living. But as a man hiding behind a woman, I'll lose my face, shame. I hide behind her because I am afraid that you are her maiden family. Otherwise, if I act, you will all have to die, for fear that she will be sad because of it. Yayu snorted. It's up to you. Yan Shan sneered. Any useless waste, let you go, can you get out of this mountain? Don't bully the young man. Maybe I was better than all of you that day. Yayu looked at Yan Shan and said, when the time comes, you kneel and beg me to let it go. Such bold remarks made Yan Shan laugh, and he didn't need to kill Yayu in front of Yan Shengting at this time. There was a chance to kill a trash. Yayu breathed a sigh of relief when Yan Shan left. He was afraid that even Yan Shengting wanted to kill him, and now it seemed that Yan Shengting was really ready to let him go. Just follow me these few days, and when things are over, I will send you away from this mountain. Yan Shengting turned to say to Yayu after watching Yan Shan leave. Life must be in my own hands to be safe. Yayu's inexplicable words surprised Yan Shengting, and didn't understand what he meant. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. The 3 days were very quiet, and everyone in the Yan family had never disturbed him. For 3 days, Yayu was also completely immersed in reading. On the contrary, it was Yan Shengting, who disappeared from time to time during these 3 days, and every time she came back after disappearing, she became weaker and paler. It was another morning, Yayu finally put down the book in his hand, and a few days made him understand. And at the moment he put down the book, there was a loud noise, and then the ground shook. Yayu thought it was an earthquake, so he ran outside the house, reacting swiftly. He walked to the open space outside the house and saw the ground cracking, the house collapsed, the boulder rolled down, and the sky was instantly filled with dust. But such a disaster made Yan Shan and others' faces show great joy. Even Yan Shengting has joy on her pale face. With doubts, Yayu saw that the waterfall pool where Yan Chao and others practiced collapsed, as if the waterfall hanging by a white dragon was directly cut off. There were pieces of collapse, and the originally beautiful waterfall pool was messed up. The earth was still shaking, but the shaking was limited to Yanjia's Wang, and Yayu knew at this time that this was not a real earthquake. With the pool as the center, the collapse became more and more terrifying, and the cracks continued to spread. Yayu watched this scene in shock. When everything stopped, a huge underground palace appeared at the original location of the water pool. It turns out that the ancestor's tomb is under this water pool. It finally appeared. Yan Hadian stood there, trembling with excitement. The other people in the Yan family were flushed and they were all excited and unable to control themselves. Even Yan Shengting's bulging and delicate body was trembling. Miss! Let's go in. Looking at the underground palace, Yan Chao suppressed excitement. Wait! But at this moment, Yan Shan spoke, then looked at Yayu, and quickly caught Yayu, even if Yan Shengting had no time to stop it. Yan Shan directly threw Yayu into the tomb of the underground palace. Keep you alive until now, then do us a favor. Yan Shan! Yan Shengting scolded angrily. Miss! The tomb has been buried for so long, and there may be dangers such as miasma and corpse in it, so I just want to try him. Yan Shan explained. Yan Shengting was anxious, but she couldn't stop it anymore. She looked at Yayu and saw Yayu smashed through the underground palace gate and rolled in. Yayu only felt pain all over his body, struggling to get up just to hear Yan Shan's words. His heart was filled with endless anger. "Old thing, you!" Ye Yu shouted through his teeth. Seeing Ye Yu's safety, Yan Shan was overjoyed. "No problem, you can go in, ha ha ha, kid, I'll come in and tell you who deserves to die." Just when everyone in the Yan family laughed and was about to rush in, suddenly there was a sudden change, and Yan Shengting and others' expressions changed drastically. Yan Hadian even shouted in panic, "No!" The sudden change occurred, and a group of people appeared on the cliff of the waterfall. These people jumped down in the wingsuit and went straight to the underground palace. "No! It's Yan Sheng and others, stopping them!" Yan Hadian's expression changed drastically, and said anxiously to Yan Shengting, "Miss, fast into the underground palace, don't let them take good luck." "Ha ha ha! Yan Hadian, can you stop us?" The man shouted to be Yan Sheng laughed, and while leaping down the cliff, they drew their longbows and shot at Yan Hadian and the others condescendingly. "Clean up a road and send Hauer into the tomb of the underground palace." After Yan Sheng's words fell, the arrows burst down, and several of the children of the Yan family were pierced by long arrows, blood staining the earth. The children of the Yan family panicked and avoided these sharp arrows. Seeing that there was no one standing in front of the underground palace, the people who leaped down laughed together, and suddenly pushed a young man toward the underground palace. "Hauer! Enter the underground palace and seize the inheritance." Yan Hadian and others were very anxious, but they were also terrified. The line of Yan Sheng is also a member of the Yan family, and they are qualified to be inherited. If he takes the lead in the underground palace, everything he has done these days will be a wedding dress for them. "Miss, I'll send you in." Yan Hadian didn't care about the arrow flying down, and ordered everyone in the Yan family to resist. At this time, he exploded with the terrifying power of his spiritual realm, and all the power in his body converged and evolved into a giant hand. Suddenly pushed to Yan Shengting. With the help of this force, Yan Shengting speeded up several times faster and went straight to the underground palace. Ye Yu was thrown in and almost shot by a sharp arrow that flew down. He yelled in furiously, "You guys are fighting! I am the one who is the most advanced in the underground palace. I will go and fight for you first." Something was robbed. Life and death. Yan Hao sneered, "You can get the things of my Yan family. Damn! I'll ruin you if I don't get lousy." Ye Yu screamed, and ran toward the depths of the underground palace. "Dare you! I'll kill your whole family." Yan Hao was angry, and the sharp arrow in his hand shot at Ye Yu, and the sharp arrow rubbed Ye Yu's ear. He felt the burning pain, if it weren't for the quickness of his head. The arrow is about to penetrate his head. "Nima, I will help you destroy it." Ye Yu was angry from his heart, and went straight to the underground palace. Yan Hao and Yan Shengting also rushed to the underground palace, and went straight into the depths of the underground palace. Yan Hadian looked at Yan Sheng and the others who were confronting them, with a rage in his heart. They did not hesitate to let the young lady get married to deceive Gu Honggan, in order to make the plan foolproof, but they did not expect that Yan Sheng and others were standing by. "You are looking for death?" Yan Hadian glared at Yan Sheng. "Hey! Do you secretly find the ancestral land and think you can hide it? You must know that our line is also passed down from the ancestors." Yan Sheng said coldly, "I have sent someone to stare at you a long time ago. Open the ancestral land with your hands." "Despicable!" Yan Hadian said angrily, "Do you think you can take good luck in this way? Yan Hao is also of the Yan family's blood, and his blood is 70% back to his ancestors, how can he not win it?" Yan Sheng laughed. "Yan Hao, your line is not as good as ours after all. Let's go in and kill Yan Hao now. How can his blood return to his ancestors?" Yan Hadian shouted, "Yan Shan, take someone in and kill Yan Hao. Who is strong and who is weak is not necessarily." Yan Sheng snorted. He blocked Yan Hadian who rushed up and shouted at the same time, stop them and buy time for Hauer. Yan Shengting is very weak at this time to open the ancestral land. Not a Hauer opponent. Looking for death. Yan Hadian was furious, but also extremely worried. He shot violently, a long knife appeared, and Yan Sheng slashed away. The voice of breaking through the air was full of domineering and cruel. With this shot, a cultivator who was in front of him was directly cut off by his waist, and the blood was raining, which was shocking. Cut off a cultivator with one knife and cast off his momentum, only slashing Yan Sheng away. Yan Sheng roared, and also drew out a long knife and ran across it. Suddenly the sound of steel clashes exploded, the fire burst out, and the powerful force generated two big swords to cut a deep gap. Go away! Yan Hadian cut across again, heavy and overbearing, like a mountain cracking rock, carrying the sound of air blasting. The two of them confronted each other, and the other members of the Yan family also fought together. Both men and horses were fiercely attacked. From time to time, someone was screamed and blood spattered in front of the underground palace. The fighting outside did not affect Yayu. Yayu rushed into the depths of the underground palace. Yan Shengting and Yan Hao rushed forward. Yayu originally thought that they would be able to reach the core of the underground palace directly. But after I came in, I found out that the underground palace is very big and there are several branch roads. Yayu couldn't tell which one was correct, so he randomly picked one and rushed in. Yan Shengting and Yan Hao also picked one randomly and rushed in. Everyone was racing against time. Yayu's luck seemed very bad. The road he chose led to a partial hall in the underground palace. He didn't see anything in the partial hall, so he hurried over the partial hall to reach the main hall. The luck of Yan Shengting and Yan Hao was obviously better than that of Yayu. They went straight to the main hall. At this time, the two were fighting, holding long swords, and killing each other with various fierce moves. The inheritance of the ancestors is mine. Yan Hao roared angrily. Then you have to ask about the sword in my hand. Yan Shengting held a long sword to kill Xiang Yan Hao, moving very sharply, with long legs leaping, and her graceful body swaying, showing the ups and downs of the curve, which was perfect. The jade arm swung a long sword, and his beautiful face was full of coldness. Yan Hao repeatedly blocked the sword in Yan Shengting's hand. He shot in one direction. At this time, Yayu discovered that in the center of the main hall, there was an altar with 9 tripods. In the center of the tripod, a bright blue light was enshrined. Xiao Ding! The small tripod is extraordinary, and the blue light it emits actually reflects the undulating mountains and rivers, the sun, the moon, and the stars. Yan Hao stared at this small cauldron, his eyes were full of greed, and his whole body was shaking with excitement. His speed increased to the extreme, and he shot towards the small cauldron. When Yan Shengting saw this, she bit her lip, and the blood flowed out and she was knotted on her forehead. Her speed suddenly increased and she immediately caught up with Yan Hao. Seeing that the two were about to rush to the altar that has never changed, suddenly burst out a powerful force. The force swept away like a shock wave, and the two who were about to rush to the altar were hit by the shock wave, and they seemed to be broken. Like a kite on a string, it smashed directly onto the ground of the main hall, and the blue stone on the ground was cracked. Kaka! Yayu even heard the sound of the two cracking bones. The two of them suffered unimaginable damage and struggled for several times without getting up. Formation. Yan Shengting and Yan Hao slumped on the ground, looking incredible in the direction of the altar. This is the inheritance left by the ancestors. Why would there be a battle against the Yan family? Yayu felt that his luck was particularly good at this time. If he came first, the force of the impact could directly kill him. But seeing the two of them doing this, Yayu smiled. Now it's his turn to be the master, right? Yayu walked into the main hall and looked at the two with a smile, and said, the two were hurt very badly. Alas, our ancestors have told us long ago, humans, don't have greed, and if you're a tomb, you will get retribution, right? Yayu picked up a stone while he was talking, and smashed a few pieces of spirit jade from the main hall into his arms. Yayu wanted to wait to leave Yan's house. These pieces of jade would prevent him from starving to death. Seeing Yayu smashing the spirit jade there, he taught them not to have greed. Yan Hao was disgusted as if he had eaten a fly. I went to your ancestors, and even the spirit jade in the main hall had to be detained. Do you still scold others for retribution for robbing the tomb? Yan Hao gritted his teeth and hardly took out a pill exuding spiritual energy from his arms. As soon as the pill was taken out, Yan Shengting said in shock, "Pill! Yayu, stop him!" Before Yayu had time to stop, Yan Hao swallowed this pill. This made Yan Shengting panic even more. "Yayu, hurry up, kill him as soon as the pill hasn't worked. Why should I listen to you?" Yayu looked at Yan Shengting. She was lying on the ground with a bulging figure showing off, with a delicate beauty. "Don't delay, the effect of the pill is extraordinary, at most a quarter of an hour, he can recover nearly half of his strength, and then you and I will die," Yan Shengting said. Yayu was shocked when he heard these words, thinking that Yan Hao almost shot an arrow through his head, thinking that this guy would really solve him if he was better. "I can help you. But what good do I have?" Yayu naturally didn't want to let it go at this time. "What do you want?" Yan Shengting asked. "As a husband, I have never enjoyed the treatment of a husband, and I am very dissatisfied with it." Yayu looked at Yan Shengting. "Today I put aside the conversation. If you can't even enjoy the rights of your husband, it's better to die." Yan Shengting gritted her teeth, almost gnashing her teeth, and asked, "What kind of treatment do you want?" "The husband's treatment has a set of procedures. First, kiss and be intimacy for a while, and then rush to tear the clothes and sleep together. If you want to have fun, add a mandarin duck bath and other items." Yayu replied. Yan Shengting had the heart to choke Yayu, but when she saw Yan Hao, she said urgently, "I'll give you the treatment later, you kill her first." "Do you think I'm a lie?" Yayu asked. "I'm hurt so badly now, you just have to kill him, and then it's not just you what you want," Yan Shengting said. "You are right." Yayu thought this was the reason. Most importantly, he saw that the flushing on Yan Hao's face was intensifying, and he dared not waste time. Yayu picked up the long sword that Yan Shengting had dropped on the ground and walked towards Yan Hao. The long sword pressed against Yan Hao's throat. Yan Shengting hovered in the void, the blue cage covered her whole body, her long hair shawl down, soft as silk, exuding light and rain, with her slender waist, slender and elastic legs, it was stunning to the point of breathtaking. The runes of Juding continued to sink into Yan Shengting's body like the tide, and Yan Shengting was finally completely submerged by the runes. In the end, Juding also turned into a rain of light, sinking into Yan Shengting's body. Yayu looked at everything that happened from a distance, especially the light and rain transformed by the aura of heaven and earth, which made him think. When the rune disappeared, Yan Shengting fell to the ground again, but her expression was much better than before. However, she was wounded twice in a row and her injuries were still very serious. Yan Shengting worked hard for several times before she stood up. She touched her forehead and muttered to herself, "There is no such book in the Ding. Most of it is not true." Yayu's heart jumped slightly when he heard these words, and asked pretendingly, "What's not true?" "It is recorded in the family code that the ancestor received a volume of heavenly books in his later years and placed it in the holy cauldron." Yan Shengting said, "This volume of heavenly books is rumored to be extraordinary, and the ancestor's supreme achievements could not be recognized by the heavenly books and died. He has never opened the heavenly book. But most of it is false. With the supreme achievements of the ancestor back then, is there any secret that he could not open?" Yayu fell into contemplation, and the heavenly book entered his forehead. Does this mean that he recognizes himself? And the battle just broke suddenly. Could it be because of yourself? If this is the case, what does it mean? Yayu didn't think he was so special. If it's because of yourself, it's definitely because of the reason of enjoying reincarnation in that space in one day. He can break through the battle that Yan Shengting can't break, and get the heavenly book that even her ancestors can't be recognized. So what does this experience really represent? Enjoy reincarnation in one day, and the secret is hidden in it. The strong man Yan Shan possesses extraordinary abilities after observing the 3 reincarnations in one day. Could it be that the same is true for himself, but so far he has not found any difference in himself? Yan Shengting deliberately walked to the altar and took a look, and confirmed that there was no celestial book recorded in the family code. She never thought that the book would be obtained by Yayu. Naturally, Yayu couldn't get a heavenly book that even his ancestors couldn't get recognized. In fact, even if a heavenly book is discovered, Yan Shengting didn't have the confidence to get it. It is rumored that the ancestors were able to barely hold that volume of heavenly books with supreme strength, but could not open the volume of heavenly books. But even if she had never seen the heavenly book, Yan Shengting was very happy. This time, with the inheritance left by her ancestors, plus the glazed celestial bodies that surpassed her ancestors, her path will soar in the future. It's just a pity that in order to resonate with his own glazed celestial body in the underground palace, and in order to break the battle to overdraw himself again, after repeated injuries, he could not use the energy of inheritance in the short term. Otherwise, she would be able to undergo a huge transformation now. Yan Shengting didn't know how the outside world was going, but her physical condition didn't dare to go out at will. Yayu was in the underground palace, and he took out the book of practice that Yan Shengting had given her to read. Yan Shengting breathed a sigh of relief. When Yayu killed Yan Hao, she asked to enjoy her husband. She was afraid that this guy would really do that. Yan Shengting is recovering from her injury, and Yayu is reading a book. It's just that such a harmonious picture didn't last long. With the sound of fighting, a group of people also rushed into the hall, headed by Yan Shan and others. "Miss. Got it," Yan Shan said excitedly when he saw Yan Hao's body and the empty altar. Yan Shengting nodded, and asked a little worried, "How is the situation of the children of the Yan family?" Yan Sheng thought that our Yan family had only one spirit realm, but he didn't know that Yan Jun had reached the spirit realm a long time ago. He kept Yan Jun hiding his strength just to guard against them. "They are not our opponents of the 2 spirit realms," Shan said. "We are still worried about being robbed of by Yan Hao to pass on the inheritance. If the lady is one step ahead, then we will win a big victory." Speaking of this, Yan Shan looked at Yayu next to Yan Shengting, and ordered Yan Chao next to him, "You are really dead, Yan Chao, kill him." "Yes." Yan Chao smiled, walking towards Yayu with a fierce light in his eyes. "Stop." Yan Shengting stopped. "I promised to let him go after the accident." "Miss. Can't let him go." Yan Shan said, "Miss will definitely become a goddess in the future, how can she tarnish her reputation because of him? Only by killing him, will the wedding of the lady and him stop? That's it. A joke." Yayu sneered beside him, "Are you going to be Guhongan and others dead? As long as you die, there is no evidence of death. The lady is destined to become a goddess-like figure in the future. We can say that they want to eat swan meat but can't eat it, so they spread rumors in anger, and everyone will believe it. After all, who would believe a goddess-like figure? We'll marry a trash." Yan Shan stared at Yayu, "So as long as you kill you, the lady's reputation will not be tarnished. Let him go, the Yan family can't avenge revenge." Yan Shengting said, "What's more, he has not practiced, and there will be no chance of meeting him in the future, and there will be no reputational influence. After all, you were married to the gods and ancestors. If he is alive, I am afraid that the young lady will remember such a person from time to time and will become your demon. Only by killing him, even if the young lady has a favorite person in the future, she will not affected by him." Yan Shan replied, "Yan Chao, what are you doing in a daze? Don't hurry to kill him. Seeing Yan Chao walking towards him with a long knife in hand, Yu quickly rushed to Yan Shengting's side, wrapped her hand directly around her slender waist, hugged Yan Shengting in her arms, and looked at a group of people and said, "You may not know, you miss it's hard to walk a few steps from a serious injury. Don't blame me for being impolite if you dare to step forward. Dare you?" Yan Chao and the others looked at Yu's hands actually holding Yan Shengting, and their eyes burst into flames, furious. "What can I not dare?" Yu sneered, turning his head to look at Yan Shengting and said, "When I killed Yan Hao, I said that I would enjoy the welfare of my husband, so let's do it now." Then Yu leaned over Yan Shengting's wide-open eyes and pouted directly toward Yan Shengting's blushing lips. The gentle touch made Yan Shengting's head instantly stunned, her whole body stiffened, and Yu was allowed to wreak havoc. Everyone in the Yan family went crazy. The fairies in their hearts were so desecrated by a trash. Every one of them burst into endless anger. They gnashed their teeth. "You're looking for death." Yan Jia's thunderous voice awakened Yan Shengting, and her beautiful cheeks instantly spread redness, and she was extremely charming. She pushed Yu abruptly, but she couldn't push her who was seriously injured. "Let go of me. Otherwise, you will be frustrated." Yan Chao clenched his fists and creaked. The scene in front of him made him crazy, and the goddess-like lady was actually desecrated by this bastard. "What do I do to my wife? It's up to you." Yu stopped and kissed Yan Shengting, but still wrapped his hands around Yan Shengting's tender and smooth waist. "You are not a son of man." Yan Shan's eyes were red, but Yan Shengting was in his hands, and they were scrupulous again. "You still have the right to call me not a son of man? I was a shield for my big marriage with your young lady, but you are gracious to avenge me and want to kill me, so you are embarrassed to call me." Yu scolded angrily. "The blame is that you are useless, just a trash, kill it if you kill it." Yan Chao stared at Yu ferociously. "Now your lady is in my hand, is that what I want to do?" Yu said as he spoke, his hand raised Yan Shengting's chin and said mockingly. "Yu! Let go of me. I promise that they won't move you." Yan Shengting bit her teeth. "If you dare to mess up again, I will never make you feel better if I try to get hurt again. Don't worry. After all, you are the daughter-in-law whom I married back to sacrifice to heaven and ancestors, and won't kill you." Yu looked at Yan Shengting and said, "Of course, your guarantee is useless, they won't listen to you." After speaking, Yu pointed at Yan Hao and said, "I said at the beginning that no one has ever dared to spit on my face, you are the first. What about vomiting?" Yan Hao said contemptuously, "You are such a useless scum, I can vomit whatever I want." Yu ignored him, turned his head and pointed at Yan Shan and said, "You just want to see if there is any poisonous gas in it, and don't throw my life into the underground palace. I remember it too. I really hope you died then." Yan Shan said with gritted teeth. "It's a pity that I'm not dead." Yu looked at the other Yan family children. "In the Yan family these days, you have done all the insults to me, I remember. What's wrong with insulting you? Can you still bite me? Are you insulting as a big man? There are things that your father has not taught me." Yan Chao cursed. "Does a father give birth or a mother teaches?" This sentence caused Yu to hold Yan Shengting's hand down, and he looked at Yan Chao. "Yu has always been very guilty. I suddenly disappeared without knowing what my parents would feel like, especially my mother, who has been tortured by rheumatism. Can she withstand such a blow? These two people who are extremely guilty of themselves are now being insulted into something uncultivated because of themselves. Damn you!" Yu stared at Yan Chao calmly, and Yan Shengting in Yu's arms clearly felt a chill behind Yu's calm. "Even if I am damned, can you kill me with a trash? Ha ha ha! You let go of Miss, the Yan family can kill you 100 times if you come out of the house." Yan Chao continued to curse, "You have no education. What's wrong with the thing? Anyone from the Yan family can kill me 100 times. Yayu looked at Yan Chao. The Yan family's strongest is the Yunling realm. It's only the Yunling realm. Did you kill me? Everyone in the Yan family was stunned in place, never expecting Yayu to say such blatant words. Isn't it the spiritual realm? Isn't it hard to reach? Yayu's words made everyone in the Yan family laugh. It was a big joke. He is a useless scum. What is he talking about here? Yunling represents the great fortune of heaven and earth. Countless people can only look up all their lives. He actually has the face to speak freely here. Yan Zhen, a child of the Yan family, mocked, if you can show me in, I will dug out my eyeballs on the spot. You give it to. However, before he finished speaking, he stared at Yayu like a ghost. Yan Shengting beside Yayu also fell into a dullness at this time, looking straight at Yayu with beautiful eyes. Yan Shan, Yan Chao and the others fell into deathly silence, feeling dry and looking before him with loss of soul. When Yan Jun and the others saw that Yan Shan hadn't appeared for a long time, they thought there was an accident. He brought in a team of Yan family children, and the scene before them made their pupils shrink. With Yayu hugging Yan Shengting, the spiritual energy from all directions flowed towards him, like flowing water, rippling with ripples. In Yayu's breathing, the heaven and earth elements flowed into his body. Yunling. Absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth into the body, which represents reaching the spiritual realm. It's just that this person has never practiced before. How can he enter the spiritual realm? The Yan family dare not accept this result. Yan Shengting's beautiful eyes also showed incredible colors. Where Yayu stood, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathered like flowing water, and the ripples and ripples had a sense of beauty. In Yayu's breathing, the speed of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth converged more and more. Fast. Originally it was just rippling waves, and finally the spiritual energy gathered, like a wave of tumbling clouds and mist. Ling Chao. Yan Jun, who is a Yunling realm, took a breath. When ordinary practitioners first reach the aura spirit state, they can't draw too much spiritual energy from heaven and earth into the body at all. The most important thing is that practice is a gradual process, and the body cannot bear too much spiritual energy from heaven and earth at once. He has been cultivating for so long, and it has been a while for him to reach the spiritual state, before he can withstand the fourfold spiritual tide of heaven and earth aura. But Yayu in front of him just started to break through and directly gathered a spirit of aura. It's just that their shock is not over yet. The heavy spiritual tide between Yayu's breath directly submerged into his body. In the next breath, another aura of aura appeared. Yan Shengting watched another breath absorb the spiritual tide cleanly. Her mouth was dry and her scalp was a little numb. He not only stepped into the Yunling, but also so terrifying. The aura of the two spiritual tides can be imagined how strong it is. But this was just the beginning. Yan Shengting and others saw a scene they couldn't forget in this life. With every breath of Yayu, a wave of spirits submerged into his body, as if waves of waves hit him. Within a dozen breaths, there were more than a dozen heavy spiritual tides submerged in his body. This scene caused a huge wave in the hearts of everyone present. It is rumored that when the heavenly fire sect master of the holy embryo realm first entered the Yunling, he was only 9 waves. After a few more breaths, there was no spiritual energy coming from the heavens and the earth, and the last heavy spiritual tide sank into Yayu's body. All this happened very quickly, and no one had time to count how many spiritual waves there were. All they knew was that Yayu had a heavy wave of spirits in one breath. No one stayed calm. Looking at Yayu who returned to peace, everyone's heart was shaken, and a horror to horror came into his mind. Instantly enter the Yunling, one breath and a heavy tide. Entering the Yunling realm was completed in a short time, and Yan Shan and others hadn't even reacted to it. The aura flowing in the body made Yayu feel ample power. Enjoying reincarnation in one day has made him completely reborn. It's just that he hadn't had the cultivation method before. He was like a barrel of gasoline, and he couldn't ignite it at all. Yayu has been comprehending the practice method these days. Although it is not a profound practice method, it has made up for the gap in practice. And because Yan Shengting's inheritance process allowed him to perceive the spiritual energy, and therefore fully understand the practice, it was like a little spark, which instantly ignited him and started a prairie fire. Who just said that I want to enter the Yun spirit realm? So he dug out his eyeballs. Yayu glanced at the Yan family, and while speaking, he picked up the sharp sword that penetrated Yan Hao and held it in his hand. Yan Zhen's complexion changed drastically before saying this, and he couldn't help backing back physically. He hadn't even cultivated to the red dust realm, so how dare he face Yayu? Yayu ignored him, his eyes fell on Yan Chao and Yan Shan. I said you guys should die. Yayu frightened him as soon as he entered Yunling, but he was so threatened by Yayu, anger came from his heart. How about you reach the Yunling realm? This is the territory of our Yan family, and it is not your turn to be arrogant. Yayu looked cold, and walked towards Yan Chao with a long sword. Then I will show you arrogantly. As the voice fell, the spiritual energy in his body covered the long sword, and the long sword pierced Yan Chao like a rainbow, fast enough to change Yan Zhen's expression. Yan Chao, go back. Yan Chao wanted to retreat in horror, but it was too late. He could only resist with the long knife in his hand. It's just that although the long sword was blocking the long sword horizontally, the huge force on the long sword directly shook his long sword flying away. Yan Chao found that the tip of the sword became larger in his pupils, and then penetrated his forehead. Yan Chao's eyes widened and fell to the ground with horror and unwillingness, scarlet blood flowing from the sword hole in his forehead. Yayu's sword pierced through Yan Chao, and the long sword once again drew a sword flower, sweeping towards the Yan family kid who had just shouted, "Since I have said that I need to dig out my eyes, then dig out." The long sword drew across his eyes without any suspense, and his eyes were directly cut. The other party screamed "Ah!" and rolled on the ground with his hands covering his eyes. Everyone was stunned by Yayu's strength and fierceness. Never thought that Yayu was so strong that Yan Chao would be killed without even having the opportunity to resist. I didn't expect Yayu to be so cruel, killing people and destroying people's eyes right away. It's your turn next. Yayu looked at Yan Shan. Yan Shan's frightened face turned pale. Seeing Yechu's move, he knew that even though he was the pinnacle of the red dust realm, he was definitely not Yayu's opponent. Don't give him a chance. Everyone will take action together and kill him. Yan Shan shouted anxiously. Yayu looked at the cultivator who came to besiege him with the weapon. The coldness in his eyes was deeper, and the sword danced, although there were no moves. But wrapped in aura, it was equally fierce. The sword light was like a rainbow, traversing, killing one person in one step, all through the throat. Blood flowed like a billowing, accompanied by several corpses falling to the ground. The ground was stained red. Seeing more and more children of the Yan family besieging him, Yayu said, "I'm happier as I come. I said to your young ladies, robbery is my habit, killing people is happy with my facial features." Yan Shengting watched Yayu kill one person in one step. The action was clean and sharp, and the cold blood made people brave the cold, really like a murderer. Listening to Yayu's words of killing, happy, my five senses, she looked sad and complicated. Not long ago, when he said this, he was still puffing up for himself. At that time, he retched and collapsed because of killing Yan Hao. At that time, he taught him to get used to blood and killing. But now, he is a good student, and he learned it the moment he taught him. It's just ironic that the blood and slaughter that I wanted him to get used to was applied to the Yan family. This was once a person who was so kind that he retched when he saw blood, but now he is forced to do this because of the Yan family's shouts and screams. Stop! Stop! Yan Shengting roared, but no one on either side listened to him. Yayu wielded his long sword, and the strength of the Yunling realm was unstoppable. He penetrated one of the Yan family children who had killed him one after another. There were already 7 or 8 corpses on the ground. The blood flowed and converged into a stream. The scarlet was shocking. His blood fell drop by drop, hitting everyone's heart. The Yan family's children were finally horrified by the killing. They didn't dare to beseech Yayu anymore, and they all retreated madly. A disciple crawled on the ground, his feet kicked backwards with a bloodless face, his pants were already wet. "Don't kill me, don't kill me!" Some of the Yan family's children were frightened and crawled on the ground begging for mercy. Yayu stared at Yan Shan, and the sword pierced towards him. Yan Jun shot, trying to block Yayu's killing. The long knife in his hand slashed down, swift and swift. "Get out!" Yayu Chongjian greeted him. He didn't have any moves, but simply stabbed it. Everyone in the Yan family raised a little hope. Yan Jun has reached the Yunling realm in a short time, and he should be able to stop Yayu. But the result was cruel. Yan Jun and Yayu fought with each other, and he felt an unimaginable terrifying force. This force shocked him. He only felt that the arm holding the long knife was about to be broken. The long knife was thrown out, the tiger's mouth was shattered, and the body was retreated by the huge force. It took dozens of steps backwards to stabilize. Body. Yayu didn't even look at him. He swiftly arrived in front of Yan Shan, and the sword pierced through. Yan Shan resisted in horror, but even Yan Jun of the Yunling realm couldn't stop Yayu. How could he stop it? Under Yayu's long sword, his throat was penetrated and he fell to the ground unwillingly. "Who else wants to kill me?" Yayu stood in the center holding a long sword. His feet were stained red with blood, and his gaze swept towards the Yan family. The practitioners he was staring at backed away in horror, not daring to look at him directly. There was deathly silence all around, and the corpses on the ground were still dripping with blood. Yan Jun gritted his teeth and stared at Yayu, but didn't dare to make a move, because he knew he was not an opponent. With one breath and a heavy tide, even if Yayu didn't know how to use swordsmanship, he could drop 100 guilds with strength. "Don't you want to kill me for your lady's reputation? I am here waiting for you." Yayu stared at them and said. Being slapped in the face by Yayu like this, the children of the Yan family felt extremely ashamed, but they couldn't do anything. "Yayu, let's go," Yan Shengting said at this time, biting her tender red lips. "No one in the Yan family dares to embarrass you anymore. Although you are their young lady, your words are useless," Yayu said to Yan Shengting. Yan Shengting opened her mouth to say something, but couldn't say anything to her lips. If Yan Shan and Yan Hao could listen to them, they wouldn't have to go this far. "Never mind. You have no heart to kill me, you and I will get married after all." Yayu looked at Yan Shengting and said, "Then keep these wasteful lives." The word waste stimulates the dignity of the children of the Yan family. Thinking that they had always evaluated Yayu as waste, but now the other party returned it to him intact, the face was crackling, but they could only endure it. Yayu glanced at the crowd, holding a long sword in his hand. He walked outside the underground palace. It just didn't take a few steps, but the world suddenly exploded. The rumbling voice was deafening, and everyone had time to see the reason, and the scene before them made their faces pale. Yayu and Yan Shengting looked at the sudden collapse of the underground palace, their complexions also changed drastically. They looked out of the underground palace in amazement, and the scene in front of them shook their hearts. The originally quiet world suddenly thundered and trembled, and the world was shaking. The underground palace was split by huge power, and huge holes appeared in the underground palace. Through the hole, Yayu and others saw a scene that was so horrified that it made their scalp numb. The outside world, where the sun was shining, was flashing thunder, and thunder was like a tumbling tide, rolling between the sky and the earth. This is a frightening picture. The sky had disappeared at this moment, and only the electric snake was dancing and tumbling wildly. The most important thing is that every thunder and lightning that resembles a dragon is pitch black, and it is a series of black thunders. Everyone can see that this is abnormal, but no one knows what caused it. Boom! The deafening sound was about to shatter people's eardrums, and Yayu's head was a little dizzy. But this is just the beginning. The terrifying black thunders are rioting, gathering more and more, tearing the sky apart, leaving him raging in the entire world, like countless giant pythons tumbling. The thunder and lightning smashed down directly through the sky, and the earth was shaking and collapsing crazily. The underground palace began to be unstable at this time, and boulders continued to roll down. Everyone felt cold all over, and their cold hair stood up. This is a scene of extinction. The collapse of the underground palace forced them to run away, even though they knew that it would be exposed to the thunder and lightning that would destroy the sky and the world. They did not want to be buried alive by the underground palace. Yayu saw that a huge boulder was about to hit Yan Shengting. He rushed to pick up the severely wounded Yan Shengting, and ran out when he let go. Yan Shengting was hugged by Yayu to avoid the boulder and rushed out. She never thought that Yayu was the first to respond and rescued her. "Thank you," Yan Shengting whispered. "Don't. Even though I don't like your Yan family very much, I am a traditional person. After all, you and I are married, so I can't watch you get beaten to death." Yan Shengting's expression is a bit complicated. Yayu saved her because of the big marriage, but the Yan family wanted to kill him because of the big marriage. The people of the Yan family watched Yayu holding Yan Shengting and rushed, thinking of Yayu's cruelty when killing everyone in the Yan family. They were all scared, thinking that Yayu would be unfavorable to Yan Shengting. Yan Shengting was their hope. If Yan Shengting was destroyed in Yayu's hands, then the Yan family would be truly destroyed. "Let go of Miss." A group of people headed by Yan Jun roared ferociously, chasing and killing Yayu. Yayu ignored them. The underground palace was collapsing. He avoided the huge boulders that had been smashed down and rushed to the outside of the underground palace. Yan Jun and the others screamed and chased them all the way to the exit of the underground palace. There were corpses lying all over the exit. Yan Hadian and Yan Sheng were obviously wounded by the fight, and there were bloodstains everywhere on their bodies. But at this time the two were also shocked by the terrifying thunder and lightning. "Uncle Hadian, stop Yayu, he will be against the young lady." Seeing that Yayu was about to rush out of the underground palace, Yan Jun shouted angrily from behind. There was a killing intent in Yan Hadian's eyes, and he shot directly at Yayu. He was obviously much stronger than Yan Jun. Even if he was injured, the force that broke out was majestic, and the long sword slashed towards Yayu's head. "Lay down, miss." Yan Hadian's long sword is domineering and fierce. "Stop!" Yan Shengting weakly shouted to stop, but failed to stop Yan Hadian. "Let it go." Yayu sneered and threw Yan Shengting towards Yan Hadian. Upon seeing this, Yan Hadian quickly retracted the long knife in his hand and reached out to catch Yan Shengting, but the force of the forcible withdrawal caused him to be severely injured, and blood gushed out from his mouth. Seeing Yan Shengting come out alive, Yan Hao has no trace. Why didn't Yan Sheng know what happened to him? Yan Sheng was in distress, angered and opened his eyebrows, holding a long knife and slashing towards Yan Shengting. "I will kill you." In the ferocious roar, the metal long knife greeted a black thunder and blasted it directly. In an instant, Yan Sheng was bombarded and killed, his body turned into coke and burned there. This scene made everyone present horrified, but this is a spiritual realm cultivator, and a thunder is smashed into black coal? A black thunder blasted toward this side, and other black thunders seemed to be dragged down. Dozens of black thunders instantly smashed down, and the ground was directly penetrated. Large pits appeared and black fire burned them. Several people were struck by thunder and lightning, and they were bombarded and killed instantly. And this is just the beginning. More and more thunder and lightning converge, violently tossing, and black lights flickering in the interweaving. "Run!" Looking at the thunder wave that was nurturing in the void, everyone was screaming and rushing towards the open space. Yayu was also running wildly. At the location of the underground palace, the thunder and lightning had already submerged the underground palace and directly smoothed the underground palace. Between the heaven and the earth, the thunder and lightning became more and more terrifying, and the electric snakes danced wildly. Above the sky, only the black thunder sea remained, which was surging and violent like a tsunami. Thunder and lightning continued to chop down, falling on one place after another on this mountain. The earth and mountains were trembling, and many peaks of the mountain were directly bombed and collapsed. Under the bombardment of thunder and lightning, the earth was constantly cracking, and huge cracks appeared. These thunder and lightning would wipe out the world. This is the power that destroys the sky and the earth, which makes people shudder with fear. Everyone is rushing to avoid, they are all running around trying to find a safe place. But under such thunder and lightning, where is there any safe place? Some of the Yan family disciples have been bombarded and killed by thunder and lightning. Yayu was cold all over, he was also running around like a headless fly at this time, delusional to avoid the thunder and lightning. He silently prayed in his heart, hoping that his luck would not be blasted by the falling thunder and lightning. It's just that his prayers didn't work. When he rushed to a seemingly safe open space, a dragon like thunder and lightning struck down directly and rushed towards him. Yayu wanted to avoid it, but his speed was no faster than thunder and lightning, and this thick black thunder struck him without any suspense. It's over. Yayu came up with this thought and closed his eyes, waiting for him to be blasted into coke. It's just that thunder and lightning fell on him, and the picture of him turning into coke did not appear. The black thunder touched his body, as if ice touched fire, it melted instantly, and then disappeared completely. Yayu couldn't believe it, staring at himself intact. What's going on? Why did the black thunder fall on me and melt? In Yayu's absence, another black thunder struck him directly, but the result was the same as before. The black thunder fell on him and melted instantly. Yayu couldn't understand. Ha ha ha! Yayu raised up to the sky and laughed loudly, I'm a god-fathered man. How can I be a god? The panic in Yayu's heart was swept away, and after being suppressed, he became more arrogant and vented to the black thunder in the sky. But Yayu was also surprised why he was not afraid of black thunder, he didn't think he was so special. To say that the only thing that makes oneself different is the experience in that space. Thinking of being able to influence the formation in the underground palace, and get a volume of heavenly books, now he is not afraid of the black thunder. All of this is probably caused by experience in space. Enjoying reincarnation in one day, what changes does this bring to yourself, and what kind of abilities does it bring to yourself? Yayu has endless doubts in his heart. Boom, boom. The black thunder rumbled down, and occasionally fell on Yayu's body. But this made Yayu's laugh even louder. Ha ha ha! If you destroy the world, you won't be able to touch me. Cut me. Come and hack me. Rubbish. Ha ha ha! I'm standing here, let you chop. Everyone in the Yan family was escaping frantically, and from time to time someone was struck and killed by lightning. They were all looking for a place to hide, but Yayu's arrogant voice reached the ears of the Yan family's children, and they couldn't help cursing. What's the matter, don't you think there are not enough thunders? This guy is scared. This guy thinks it would be more dignified to die like this. However, their cursing stopped immediately, because Yayu ran in front of them and rushed directly to the Lehigh where the black thunders had gathered. This guy, really crazy. The Yan family disciples watched with stunned Yayu heading towards the boiling thunder sea, and the back of Yayu rushing away made them swallow their saliva. Yayu rushed all the way to the center of Lehigh. Since he is not afraid of thunder and lightning, what else is he afraid of? This thunder and lightning is too weird, and it is a dark and weird black thunder, not a normal thunder and lightning at all. Since it was not the thunder and lightning caused by the weather, what caused the black thunder? Yayu wanted to find out. The thunder and lightning thundered and turned into a sea of thunder, but Yayu walked in like this. Although he knew that he was not afraid of thunder and lightning, Yayu couldn't help but feel fear when he watched the thunder and lightning that was surging like an ocean. However, Yayu still gritted his teeth and continued to walk into the sea of thunder. He firmly believed in the strangeness of this black thunder, and there was no secret in it. The deeper the inside, the more terrifying the black thunder, leaving only the vast sea of thunder, like the black tide churning wildly. This is the world of thunder, the world is gone. Do not. Not everything in the world disappeared. Yayu walked to the center of Lehi, his eyes suddenly widened, staring straight in one direction. His heart was so awe-inspiring, he couldn't help taking a breath. In the most central position of Lehi, he saw an incredible scene. There is someone there. That's right. A woman, and a beautiful and unconventional woman. She was so beautiful that Yayu took a look and felt that this was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen, so beautiful that her heart trembled. She is standing in the center of Lehi, with long hair flying, her neck is white and slender, her skin is as crystal clear as snow, and she is dressed in a white dress. She is curvy and exudes a mature and charming appearance. The amorous feelings make people feel soft at the first glance. This woman, who was so glamorous to reverse the appearance of all beings, was now standing in the sea of thunder, endless rays of thunder rushing towards her, and the black thunder submerged her in the center. This is a terrifying picture, beyond Yayu's cognition. This stunning woman is actually fighting this devastating sea of thunder alone. Black thunder bursts, like the turbulent waves hitting the shore, constantly blasting towards this beautiful woman. The blazing black thunder wants to wipe out the world as well as her. Yayu was horrified. This black thunder that suddenly appeared, this black thunder that ruined the world, was all to deal with this woman? As soon as this thought came out, Yayu was frightened by himself. He stared at the woman who was fighting against thunder and lightning in the void. She was obviously not as fearless of thunder and lightning as herself, but was resisting the black thunder with her own strength. So how strong is she to dare to resist such a world-destroying black thunder? Pieces of thunder and lightning continued to blast at her, the sound was deafening, and the huge thunder and lightning like a dragon rushed straight towards her one by one. She was swimming with black electric lights all over her body, and her whole person was a little more enchanting, and she was even more sexy. The black thunders kept falling, and her whole person was dancing. Her long legs were straight and slender. Between the movements, a mighty power burst out from her body, constantly rushing towards the black thunders, wiping out these black thunders. Yayu Zhozhou looked at the woman with amazing charm above the void. She was like a flat boat in the ocean. Although the black thunder was like a sea, the flat boat could not be submerged and buried. It's just that she was also very difficult to resist. Every time the sky thunder and lightning slammed down, her flawless, white jade-like pretty face turned pale. In the void, black thunder bursts, thousands of people rushed to the woman again and again. The black thunder like a dragon is violent, with boundless momentum in the rush. The woman's arms danced, and pieces of runes flew out of her body. The rune culture was like a giant dragon, protecting her body and down, while the runes impacted the thunder and went away. Rune and the black thunder were clashing. The woman bit her shell teeth, her crazy driving force wanted to rush out of the thunder sea. But the black thunder attacked her in thousands, and the vast thunder sea wanted to wipe her out completely. The woman was terrifying, and an aura of horror erupted from her body. This coercion made the world and the earth tremble, as if she was an unrivaled god. It's so strong. Yayu watched the woman's actions again and again, wiping out the thunder and lightning, and his heart was shocked. This kind of power is beyond his cognition. Really only a can be so strong. It's just that the vast sea of thunder is churning, endless, shaking the world and moving ghosts and spirits, and women are strong and they are not weak, and a piece of obliteration appears. Yayu looked startled. What kind of evil this woman had done to cause such a thunderous attack on her body? The woman kept fighting against thunder and lightning, although she resisted waves of devastating attacks. However, blood spilled from the corners of her charming mouth. As waves of thunder attacked him, the blood spurted out directly. The scarlet blood was shocking. With her beautiful face, she couldn't help but feel distressed. Boom! It was another wave of bombardment, and the rune covering the woman's body did not hold on and was directly destroyed. At the same time, the black thunder fell on the woman. While vomiting blood in her mouth, she bit her teeth repeatedly to resist the black thunder, and the black thunder walked around her. Every time the woman wandered, her body trembled, as if she was suffering great pain. The black thunder was like a sea tide, rushing to the woman one after another. She struggled to resist, but it was impossible to stop it, and there were more and more black thunders moving around. In the end, the black fire burned her dress. This is a suffocating scene of sultry humanity. A beautiful woman's dress is burning, and there are fewer and fewer coverings on her body. The slender and graceful body shows the infinite temptation in front of Yayu, especially the burning flame. It adds a bit of hotness to her. Yayu's eyes went straight, and the woman's clothes quickly burned out. Her body was white, she could be seen by others, her hair was flying, and her skin like suet jade could feel the amazing elasticity at the first glance. The whole body didn't catch a trace, the black thunder flame burned along her graceful body, and the beauty and snake-like curve really trembled people's hearts. Yayu felt that his little heart was under a huge impact, and his heartbeat had reached the highest frequency in his life. This was a life-threatening scene, and Yayu felt that he was about to burn. Boom! Another wave of black thunder flooded her away. The woman never resisted any more, and her body flew towards the ground. Her long and flawless legs staggered on the ground, and the ground seemed to explode with deep pits. The woman staggered and took dozens of steps to stabilize her figure. Standing on the ground, she discovered that there was actually another person in the center of Lei Hai. The woman was slightly startled when she saw Yayu, but when she saw that the violent black thunder fell on Yayu and disappeared, her eyes showed an incredible shock. How is this possible? Anyone can stand safely under this thunder and lightning. The woman couldn't believe it. Rumble. The woman didn't have time to look at Yayu more, because the next wave of thunder and lightning blasted her again. The woman bit her shell teeth for the next wave of resistance. She was injured too badly, she could no longer reach the level of defense before. Dozens of black thunders rushed directly into her body, and the black thunder lights wandered around her like a poisonous snake. Blood gushed out of her mouth again, her face was pale, her body trembled, and she almost fell directly to the ground. Boom! In the sea of thunder, another wave of black thunder was about to drown the woman, and her face changed a lot when she saw this scene. I couldn't help but look at Yayu, and saw that the lightning disappeared as soon as the lightning touched Yayu. The woman made a decisive action, drove to the extreme speed, and went straight to Yayu. So Yayu saw a goddess walking in the air. She had no strands of her body. She had long, slender, white, long legs, and occasionally saw the bright red in the middle. When Yayu felt that he was going to have a nosebleed, that was like ivory. The carved body came to him in an instant. And it was such a heavenly body, in Yayu's round eyes, directly rushed into his arms. Yayu could feel the delicate and gentle touch in the future. He was pushed directly, and then turned around. Suppressed. This is a beautiful picture, with Yayu on the top and the woman on the bottom. They were pressed tightly, and Yayu could clearly feel the soft and tight pressure on his chest. His nose smelled of an intoxicating fragrance. Boom, boom. The thunder and lightning thundered down and rushed towards the woman, but she was under Yayu. All the thunder and lightning hit Yayu, but they dissipated when she came into contact with Yayu. But after this wave of thunder and lightning dissipated, Yayu was shocked, because he saw the entire thunder sea boiled, and the endless thunder and lightning were tossing, rumbling, and shaking, roaring in madness. Such a terrifying picture made Yayu hurriedly said to the woman, "These lightnings are all aimed at you. Although I am not afraid of lightning, but so many boiling black thunders come down, I can't protect you." The woman didn't speak, but she moved her fingers repeatedly. A golden mark flashed on her forehead. The black thunder that wandered around her body from time to time seemed to be sealed and disappeared, and the woman's breath changed at this moment. He was weaker than ordinary people, and his face became pale again. "Hold me tight, press me down, don't let go." After the woman said these words, the whole person fainted directly. "Damn! What's the requirement?" Yayu stared at this beautiful woman in a daze. "What do you want to do when you say this?"